No, I have high hopes. High hopes this evening. Should
High
be a good one.
hopes. Yes, for sure. High hopes, as that Tier 2 race was absolutely off the chain. If you didn't catch it, of course, it'll be on our YouTube channel very soon. Now, let's take a look at the wonderful circuit here. Of course, me being a Canadian, I am partial. If you guys caught the last stream, you'd know. Of course, DRS very strong here around Canada. Of course, on the man-made island in Montreal here. Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Let's let's dive right in. Of course, guys, let's take a look at where we've gone this season. It's been a very great season so far. Australia kicking things off, Bahrain, Vietnam, China, of course, the Netherlands, Spain, Monaco, and most recently, last week, it was Azerbaijan. Now we are here in the Great White North. It is the Canadian Grand Prix. Following that, next week we have the French Grand Prix as well as Austria. And then we move through into the second leg of our season here for Misfits. And it's going to be the British Grand Prix kicking off that half, with the Hungarian Grand Prix following that, Belgium, Italy, Singapore, Russia, Japan, the US, Mexico, Brazil. And to finish out the season, we go through to, of course, Abu Dhabi. Now let's take a look at the Tier 1 grid today. This, I do believe, is a very, very fast grid today, if I have the information right. But we have Brainstu and Becky B over at Mercedes, Alex Bitto with Hyper at Ferrari, Zamis and Swifty for Red Bull. That's Yoda and Rackety, of course, for McLaren. Remco Van Putten with BTFU over at Renault. I'm so pumped for this race, I can't even catch my words here. We have Shenjie and Freeware with AlphaTauri, Fubar and Neon Rays for Racing Point, Nigel McGeedis, of course, with Jean over at Alfa Romeo, Henders and Astrodite at Haas, with King and Custom rounding out this grid for the Williams crew. Let's take a look at the standings here before I slip up the teams anymore. It's going to be Shenjie leading the current Drivers' Championship. He has 100 points, the first driver in the tier to clock 3 digits. Of course, you have Yoda right behind him with 93, and then it's Nigel there in third with 69. And of course, you have the AlphaTauri squad leading this championship. And with all of that, Mikcow, I do believe we're just about ready to go here.
Yeah, we've got all the drivers in that will be participating. So just gotta wait for that timer to tick down. I will say this though, Canada doesn't really take any prisoners. You know, might not be as technically challenging as the 2 circuits previous. But if you do, slip up your focus, it can be very easy to put it into a wall. It is still a street circuit after all.
Yes, most definitely. Of course, there's a lot of places here that we've seen these drivers get shaky through. Of course, we've seen 2 races here on the Misfits channel this week for this circuit. We saw EU on Tuesday, and then, of course, earlier, just a few minutes ago, we had the Tier 2 race conclude. And traction, very, very interesting here.
Yeah, just the undulation that's there, and I don't know if the circuit doesn't have a whole lot of grip, or what's going on. But traction seems to be a struggle for some of these drivers. We've seen in those series prior, and the series previous on Tuesday with the EU guys.
Yeah.
But this is Tier 1. This is our cream of the crop, as it were. So hopefully not too many issues. But one slip up here or there could have dramatic consequences for one of their races.
Yeah. 18 drivers on the grid. Mikcow, Becky B over at Mercedes, of course, Remco Van Putten with the Renault team, Neon Rays, as well as BTFU on the grid today. That's Yoda in 5th on the timing tower presently. We also have Zamis. Fraser, we have Custom in over at Williams. Some Idiot is on the grid as well today in another reserve appearance, with Freeware over in 10th there at the AlphaTauri team. Nigel and John over for Alfa Romeo, of course, with Astrodite, and Brownie back in a reserve role. We have Shenjie, Alex Bitto, and Swifty, as well as Brainstu, rounding out the rest of the drivers on the grid.
Yeah, so close to a full grid. Not quite a full grid this time, which is a bit disappointing, but 18 drivers is still a good turnout, and still more than enough for some drama here at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And I have been informed it will be a drive for both events. So drive for both qualifying and the race, so these drivers won't have anything to worry about.
So it will definitely be a contest of speed and wits, as opposed to craft in the wet. Now, one thing to talk about, Mikcow. You had a good race around here earlier today. Of course, for those of you that don't know, the Australian grid, or of course as we call it, the Oceanic grid, is now into practice sessions and is going to be taken to circuit on October 1st for the Austrian Grand Prix. You'll be able to find a video for that, I can confirm, on our YouTube channel come October. Now, great thing about that, Mikcow, you were around Canada today. You got an opportunity to drive the circuit as we follow Nigel here through the hairpin. He'll be the first driver to settle up. But talk to us a little bit about your experience around here.
Canada is very, very easy to get penalties. Get pinged for extending that track just a little bit too much. Especially this final chicane where Nigel's coming up to now to start his lap. You really have to attack it early. It slides a little bit. But you really have to attack these chicanes at all of these turns in order to get the lap time out of the circuit. And just pushing that a little bit too much, gets you lots of track limit warnings, and those add up over the course of the race. And with the walls so close together, there is a possibility of a safety car towards the end of the race. Didn't happen in my race, thankfully, but no, it certainly is a possibility around here.
Yeah, definitely. Safety car is something of the norm around here. Of course, the Oceanic practice race earlier today was very clean. Not a VSC or safety car in sight. Of course, Nigel coming down into the hairpin now. He's on this flyer. He's got a bit of a lock up there, trying to catch that inside curb a bit. Coming through 11, that near invisible turn, and then up through 12, down the casino straight.
Yeah, we'll see how he handles the final chicane. This could make or break the lap at this point. Down into 5th gear. Takes it nice and steady. A little bit of a tap on the wall, but it won't cost him too much. And you hug that right-hand side for the shortest run to line. It'll be a 108.6 to start us off. So, probably not the time he was hoping for, but it is a decent time nonetheless to get us started here.
Yeah, big question here is how many drivers are going to get those clean lap times in. We've seen it throughout all of the races this week that some drivers coming through that 13-14, that Wall of Champions iconic chicane, they invalidate, and unfortunately as a result they invalidate the next lap that they go to set as well. So it can be quite tricky custom. He comes into 5th, a 109.4 in the Williams.
Yeah, a few times popping in, so Becky B in that Mercedes has gone a 100th faster than Nigel with a 108.68. Yoda just coming across the line to slot himself into P3 with a 108.7. And some idiot with a 108.7 on the medium compound tires as well, Strifium.
Yeah, things are definitely ramping up. Shenjay coming down into the final chicane in that other AlphaTauri. As his teammate Freeware is invalidated.
Lap is going to be. It is going to be into the 107s we go. That's a 107.9 as the opening run for the AlphaTauri.
I think that was actually quicker than Revo's opening lap. But we'll have to see if Shenjay is able to break down that gap to where Revo landed in quali, because he was absolutely rapid. But a very nice opening lap for sure.
Now just looking at the other times that have been set so far, Zamis for that Red Bull squad slotting himself into P6 just behind some idiot with a 108.8 at the moment. Alex Bitto behind him, half a tenth between those two. And then Swifty, the first one in the 109s, the 109 flat, BTFU with the 109.2, and Custom with the 109.4 as the last of the time setters thus far. It looks like we have a race between the two AlphaTauris actually at the hairpin. They're going wheel to wheel. Not sure if it's a race to the pit lane or what's going on, but certainly was some interesting tactics from the AlphaTauri team.
Yeah,
not something you'd really expect from the constructors' leaders, if I do say so myself.
No, not something you typically see as Astrodate comes through, touching through turn 12 here on the back straight through the casino straight, of course, and down into the final chicane to set his first lap. Very clean through, in, and out of the chicane. What's it going to be? Good for P9, Mick. A 109.3. Or flat, actually, excuse me. 109 flat.
109.03 for the Haas driver. Astra looking to impress. He's 200th faster than Swifty at the moment. And he's just, about a 10th off Alex Bitto in front of him. So it's As always, this is a very, very close-knit grid. A couple of anomalies here and there with their top two. Brainster actually bested his teammate there by a few tenths, going with a 108.3. But aside from that, this grid is very, very tight, which is absolutely amazing. We love to see it.
On board now with the Renault, that's Van Putten coming down through. He's about to set his first flyer of the session, Mick.
Yeah, we'll see what he's able to do in this final chicane. Brakes a little bit early for my liking, but he carries the speed very, very well through it. Nice and tidy. It'll be a 108.1 for the Renault, so that's good enough for P2 at the moment. It's Brownie as well, comes across the line in third with the 108.2. So these are some very, very fast lap times coming in now. We still have just over 10 minutes left in the session.
Fraser, I saw, started a flyer as well. Very nice times at the top of this grid right now. Very tight. And Fraser, I think, is going to be looking to try to set himself somewhere into the middle of this grid. He's currently on the medium compound tire. The majority of drivers currently that set those times on the softs. We'll see what kind of pace he's able to pull as he's invalidated, out of turn 9, I believe.
Yeah, just took too much of that inside curbing at turn 9. It's very, very hard to stay within the track limits there and actually go at speed, just like all of the high speed chicanes. And Neon Ray's even actually giving him a nice tow as he still opts to continue the lap.
Meanwhile,
see what he's able to do.
Some idiot currently flying. He's just had two drivers pull off for him through into sector 3 here. DRS wide open, and he was up on his time.
Hard on the brakes. He has to get out of the throttle a little bit to avoid hitting that wall of champions. And it's only good enough for P3 at the moment. The 108.2. So no one able to get into the 107s to compete with Shenjie at the moment. But there's still plenty of time left. And I'm sure that the likes of Van Putten, Summit, and Brownie will certainly have an answer for that blistering opening lap time from the AlphaTauri.
Zamis jumps into 6th. Mick, he's improved 4 tenths, and Freeware is also on a flyer.
And we'll see how the German goes as he makes his way towards turn 10, the hairpin, down the gears, using first gear, and then double upshifting, actually. Not something that we see too many of the drivers doing. Double upshifting just to get rid of all that wheel spin. DRS open as you make your way down the back straight, just trying to spot just after that 100-meter board on the left-hand side. Takes it nice and steady through the final chicane. We'll see what he's able to do. That's good enough for P7 at the moment. The 108.62.
Jean to the line. He goes into 11th quickest here, 108.8, and things are super quick around the Montreal circuit.
Alex had a bit of an issue. Alex Bitter on his next flying lap seems to have spun it out of the exit of turn 7. So very, very unfortunate for him. Custom also about to complete another flying lap. He's currently sitting with a 109.4. But I do believe he's invalidated and actually heading into the pits, which is lovely.
NJ also on an invalidated lap here. Becky B, I believe, started a lap, but it has invalidated nearly immediately here. Not too many drivers on flyers.
No, it doesn't seem like it. Looks like Swifty's about to start a lap. Yoda's on his outlap as well. Looks like BTFU has also started a lap behind the Red Bull.
A 109 flat from Swifty. Very tight to Astrodite there in that 13th, 14th slot on this grid. We'll have to see which one of them gets to move ahead further here.
Lots of drivers now starting their next runs. Becky B now starting his run as well, as we get a few cars exiting the pit lane.
Of course, if you're just tuning in, you're here for and Swifty, has had a big miss of the braking coming down through into the hairpin. That's going to allow BTFU by, and he's flying. But we're going to, of course, ride along with him now down the casino straight. Of course, Misfits Racing League Tier 1 racing action here around Canada. Share the stream, get your friends in here, because you guys, I think, are going to have a lot of fun watching this one. Currently, the gap from first all the way down to 12th position,
Brownie's out.
down to 13th position is 1 second. And what on earth has happened to Brownie?
Looks like he's crashed at the exit of turn 9. Look at Customs on board, and yeah, he's just sitting into that left-hand side wall. So he definitely won't be improving now. That car has completely blown its front left suspension.
Turn 9 has been a hot spot here in the new game. I have to say, it has been catching a lot of drivers on exit, and they've been getting those rears spun round into that left-hand side wall. Yoda, meanwhile, is on a flyer, and he's invalidated through 13, Mick.
No, you hate to see that. Custom now also not able to improve on his time. But some idiot is currently flying it, and he invalidates as well at turn 9. So this driver's not seeming to be able to get another lap in. Fraser now. Looks like he invalidates as well, potentially. And yes, he has. Wasn't 8.2, so it was good enough for third. But he'll need to go around again.
I do believe that is Nigel on a clean lap right now.
Well, at the moment. Let's see how he takes this final chicane. As his drivers start to attack it more and more, the invalidations keep coming through. But it's a good run, and it's provisional pole for the Alfa Romeo with a 107.838. So Chen-Jay has been dethroned for the time being, and that is a very strong lap from the Alfa Romeo, if I do say so myself.
Very good lap indeed, as all of these drivers now, it's the calm Mikcow before the storm, and I think Remco Van Houten may be the only driver on circuit currently clipping, and he's coming through 8-9 right now, and we saw it earlier with Brownie. He's had a snap coming out of 9, and that's going to really, really play with some of these drivers, I think, here in this race.
Yeah, somebody also seems to be using that battery behind him as well, but Remco Van Houten getting a decent exit out of the hairpin of turn 10. Make their way through the two little kinks of 11 and 12. DRS wide open, nearing on 333 kilometers an hour, heading down that back straight through the final chicane. He keeps it on the track. What time is it going to be? It's going to be an improvement of half a tenth, but it isn't enough to move up from that P3 slot, as some idiot's time is only good enough for P2 at the moment. The 1 minute 7.86. So 300ths off our provisional pole man, Nigel.
Alex Bitto's having one heck of a qualifying session here. He is not going to be happy over there at Ferrari. He is missing that front right again.
Yeah, Scooterito only having one car on this grid, unfortunately, at the time being. So all their hopes are placed on the Spaniard. But seems to be struggling here around the circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Normally a driver with blistering pace. So we've seen him do very, very well in this opening leg of the season, and it's a bit out of character to see him struggling this much, but it's the way the cookie crumbles, I'm afraid. He'll have one more shot at it.
Well, Swifty coming through the hairpin here. He is on a flyer, but I think he lost some time in Sector 2, so we'll have to see if he decides to finish it out here. We'll have to see what his Sector 3 is like on his end.
Looks like he's going straight into the pits. Looks like somebody will be coming into the pits as well.
Astrodite.
Only driver on a lap right now is Astrodite. Currently P14 with a 1 minute 9.03. He's looking to impress. DRS open down the casino straight. See how he takes this final chicane. Down to fourth gear using all of that curbing. Keeps it nice and tidy. No threat of wheel spin at all, and he will improve by 2.5 tenths. That's good enough for P11 right now, or the second pole as they call it, with a 1 minute 8.77. So 300s ahead of the BTFU in 12th, who has just exited the pits himself to get himself around for his final run, Striff.
Now, talking about the clock, the qualifying clock, it's ticking down from 1. Now, we have it on good authority that the drivers have a little bit more time, and the big question is Alex Bido coming out of that pit lane? Okay. And I do believe they are releasing the Ferrari now, so we're going to get that Ferrari out of the garage, and he is going to try and get to go once again. We'll have to see how he goes. Zam is coming into the hairpin. He is on an invalidated lap. Freeware, invalidated. Becky B, however, in the Mercedes, he's clipping down through Sector 2.
Yeah, Becky B, not the cleanest lap I've seen. A little bit of a wheel spin, a little bit of snaps here and there. But it's been alright so far. Let's see what his time is like going through the split. He is just under a 10th up on his time. So he's able to jump freeway, but I don't know. He really has to nail this final chicane if he wants to get any higher than 8th place on this grid. DRS wide open. Looks like the AlphaTauri in front of him might be giving him a little bit of a cheeky toe here. That's freeware actually, giving the Mercedes a toe to try and help him pass him. But that's some decent speed through the chicane as Astrolite retires in the pit lane, so he won't be setting another time. It's a 2/10 improvement. So as I was saying, he was able to jump freeware, but not much else.
Freeware's flying.
Now it's Freeware's turn. Let's see how he responds. As well as all these drivers now starting their final laps. Chen Jay, Remco Van Putten, some idiot coming through the final chicane now, as is Nigel, all looking to improve on their times. Zamis, unfortunately, has invalidated his lap time, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time to start another one. We'll wait and see. Yoda as well, going through the sector 2-3 split, and he is 2/10 up as well, so the track is rubbing in, lots of drivers improving. See what they are able to do as they start coming across the line. I think it will be Yoda first to set their final lap time as the checkered flag has dropped, I believe.
Yoda's been having a very, very hot start to this season, but he's invalidated it, Mick, through the chicane. So he's not going to be able to improve after all now as he takes the flag.
Looks like Freeware's invalidated as well, so he won't improve from that P9. Next will be Remco Van Putten as he crosses the line, and he is unable to improve on his time by the slightest amount. BTFU retiring from the session. Chen Jay is unable to improve from that P3 slot. Looks like some idiot as well has invalidated his lap time. Nigel's gone into the pits, so a very anticlimactic end to the session, but we still have a Swifty on an invalidated lap time, and Brainstew behind him, who's going into the pits.
I mean, the session really wasn't that hectic because it was so spaced out, but if you look at this grid, the gap to leader right now, at the very least from first to second, is near 0.03 of a second. Now, if you move down through the entirety of the grid, you have 1.5 separating from first to 17th. From first to 15th, it's a second. And of course, from first to 7th, it's 0.6. So this is a very tight grid around a very, very DRS dynamic circuit, where of course the DRS can be so strong should you be able to stay within it. And passing, passing here. You need to pick and choose your battles, Mikcow.
That is very, very true. And two drivers that I think will need to be doing a lot of picking and choosing is Alex Bido and Fraser, who are in way out of position, I feel. Alex Bido all the way down in 15th for this event, and Fraser was unable to set a valid qualifying time, so he'll be at the back of this grid. He's shown immense pace through his time here with us in Tier 1, as well as some amazing pace in the MRL Club grid. But why don't you run us through this top 10, Striff?
Will do, Mick. Nigel on pole position in the Alfa Romeo. Some idiot in second position there with the Williams, and Shenjay there rounding out the top 3. Of course, it's Van Putten there, 4th for Renault. Brownie in 5th. Of course, we saw him have a bit of an incident through 9, so he was unable to complete any further laps. Brainstew in 6th, Zamet 7th, Becky B in 8th, with Freeware in 9th. And it's the Albanian driver of Yoda in the McLaren rounding out the top 10 here. And if I was speaking with Yoda earlier here, And he said that potential podium not off the table, Mick. So he's been on fire. We'll have to see what he's able to put forth here. And we've got a little bit of doom and gloom in the clouds. But of course, we did get the report. It is going to be a clear race and a contest of speed.
Yeah, I still need to ask Yoda for the lottery numbers after that amazing performance. Last, whenever that was, I think it was China. He said no, he was going to win that race, and he won it.
Well, he did it in France as well.
Yeah, he did it in the 100% endurance series at France. So, you know, if you're going to ask anyone for the lottery numbers, Yoda's the guy to do it. But anyways, just wait for these drivers to finalize their setups and their race strategies, and we'll be underway with the formation lap shortly.
Of course, if you're just tuning in, we're about to jump into a 50% distance endeavor here around Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. We're in Montreal. It's the Canadian Grand Prix, and joining me is Mikcow. My name is Strifium. Grab your friends, share that link. It's Misfits Racing League time, and we have an absolutely rapid grid on display for this one, and we'll just have to see how they go. We had an amazing Tier 2 race earlier. Of course, if you're new, hit that follow button because the season is just getting heated up.
Yes, I believe we're a third of the way through the season now with this race. I might be wrong. Probably am wrong. But anyway, so going through this back 10, we have Astrodight in 11th on those soft compound tires. BTFU as well on the softs in 12th behind him. Jean in the Alfa Romeo on those medium compound tires. He's in 13th. Neon Ray is behind him in 14th, also on the mediums. Alex Biddo, as I was saying before, in 15th. A little bit out of position that he's going to have some ground to make up to get back into the points. Swifty there in 16th behind the Ferrari. Custom in 17th, and Fraser at the back of this grid, unable to set a time during qualifying. He's also on the medium tires.
Yeah, big question here. I've heard Biddo wanted to get on the hards, and there was a little bit of a discrepancy with him and Jeff, and he's gone out on the soft compound tires here. We'll have to see how he goes. He had an abysmal qualifying, but we know him to have been able to come from the rear of this grid in the past, so we'll just have to check in with him down the line. Of course, we're going to be focusing on the front of this grid off the start, most definitely.
So all three cars at the front driving through each other as the AI takes control of their vehicles and forms them back up onto the starting grid. Very, very overcast here in Montreal this evening, but it shouldn't be anything the drivers have to worry about. In fact, it probably will help keep those tires within their optimal operating window. As Fraser makes his way to the back of the grid, it's going to be an intense start, Striff. And for your home GP1, you take us through this start sequence.
Well, it's a lot of soft compound tires, Mick, but you know what else is red here? We got 5 red lights on here in Montreal, and it's the Canadian flag waving, and here we go. The engines are revving. Nigel on pole position, summited on the front row next to him. Of course, we are away. Nigel under immediate threat. That's some idiot with a fantastic launch. He's already in the lead of this race, Mikcow. And of course, that is going to be Shenjay looking at the rear of the Alpha. We have a fantastic start here. Nigel back alongside with some idiot. Some idiot, a little squirrely coming out of turn 2. He's on the inside coming into the 3-4 chicane. A little bit of a wheel tap there. He gets a little bit of a shake. A couple of the drivers having to recover as a result, but some idiot maintaining second position here. Nigel in the lead of this race, and we have yellow flags popping up all over. And that's Yoda.
Safety car.
That's Yoda, Mick.
Yep, Yoda's been spun around, and Zamis has received a 5-second time penalty for a severe collision, as has Becky B. So they made it through the first 3 corners all right, but after that it was a bit of a wreck fest, if I do say so myself. I saw an M-play, looks like it might be Chenjay actually. Or one of the Alpha Terrors, either Chenjay or Freeware, picking up some damage.
Oh no, Mikcow. You know what's going through Yoda's head right now, right? Russia.
Is he getting Russia flashbacks?
I think so, my friend. He's at the back of this grid. Of course, we saw him do it in Russia twice in one race, come from the back to front. We'll have to see if he can pull another miracle off here. He wants to win. But of course, a lot of drivers jumping into the pit lane. The most notable, some idiot. He's decided to get off the softs, Mick.
Yeah, we'll see what set of tire he opts to go for. Looks like he's put on a fresh set of mediums. So interesting choice to give up the track position. But it'll still come out in 9th place. And Alex Bitto, from starting 15th, has made up 10 places already. He's up into 5th. So
Enter the
qualifying
Spaniard.
seems to be overrated. Qualifying's overrated at this point.
Well, we said it. He's been very good at getting early positions. And like I just said, enter the Spaniard here. He's in 5th position. He's on these softs. He's the last driver on the grid currently on the softs when it comes to the current standing order. Of course, in 5th position now. He's made it quite a number. Let's take a look at the position changes. Who are the big winners here? Fraser's made up 10 positions, as well as Neon Rays, Jean, and Astrodate all have moved up 7 slots. Yoda down 6 from where he began here, as well as Some Idiot. He is pit now. And it's just been a big exchange with all of these pit stops coming through. You can see half of the grid precisely has come in onto some different compound tires. So we'll have to see how that shapes up this strategy here. A lot of drivers on the mediums.
Yeah, I'm still quite curious as to why so many drivers opted to pit for the mediums so early. The softs still definitely will be the faster tire, and you really want to be able to make up ground at the start of this race. So even though overtaking is possible around here, it can be a very, very large risk. I'm sure none of these drivers want to be making an extra pit stop to change a front wing or two.
I just can't believe how tight that grid was in qualifying, and now, Mikcow, we're going to get a rolling restart, and we had one of these in Tier 2, and I have to say, brace yourself.
You know what we need? We need those standing starts that they've done at the Monza and Mugello. Just form up everyone in their current slots on their current tires and just go from there.
That was a wild ride, Mugello. That was a very wild race.
For better or for worse. For better or for worse. So just waiting for the final few drivers to catch up to the safety car queue. Looks like Yoda, Becky B, and Swifty are the 3 in question, but looks like they're catching up to it just about now. So the safety car should be in at the end of this lap. It will be Nigel leading them away once again with looks like some drivers having some work to do to make their way back through this field.
Of course, Nigel, a very quick driver here. He's got Van Putten right up his gearbox here. They're going to let that safety car go, and he's just going to drift through this hairpin. And of course, if it helps you focus on the race anymore, just picture Kimi Räikkönen in that cockpit leading this race. Of course, you can only picture what he'll be saying behind the safety car. No 5-second penalties just yet. Of course, this grid itching to go here on these medium compound tires. Mick, take us through this race restart.
We'll wait and see where Nigel decides to pull the plug. The safety car is now in the pit lane, so it's up to Nigel whenever he wants to go. Keeps doing the little jiggle to try and get temperature into the tires. And looks like he is going through the final chicane. He's lost Remco Vepin a little bit. Shenjay also about 5/10 back. Ashrad as well. This grid is really, really shaping up. There's a yellow flag as we go. Green flag racing once again. That's Brownie now. Brown the outside heading into turn 1. Has the inside line for the first corner. And looks like Freeway as well has gotten past the Mercedes. So those two now up a position as well. Looks like it's been a great restart for those two. But behind them there, it's very, very tight. Custom looking down the inside of BTFU. This is the battle for 13th at the moment. They're unable to find that gap just to squeeze through. Freeway now also still on the back of that Haas by a couple of tenths. Some Idiot now as well in at that 9th place, chasing down Fraser. But I think most of these drivers just trying to find their rhythm once again. Zamis trying to get those tires up to temperature now, as Becky B as well behind them in 17th. Yoda, he has Becky B and Yoda behind him. They are both very, very hungry after the less than optimal start to this race. And
Some Idiot here with a good launch coming out of turn 10 here, Mick. He's looking real hard at Fraser. He's on the inside coming into the chicane, and we know how that line goes. It's the better line to have through there, and he's got it done. He's into 8th position. Lovely.
yeah, Fraser deciding not to fight that one too hard. Chenjay was setting the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:12.0. As these tires get back up to their operating window, I'm sure those times will continue to fall. And nobody is out of that 1 second gap at the moment, Striff, and we are 5 laps into this race. I don't care if there was a safety car. I don't think I've ever seen the grid this tight at any point, and Brain Stew's just ruined it.
What on earth has happened with Brain Stew now?
It's just falling out of that 1 second gap. Unable to
I
stay.
thought you made. I thought you made something. I thought something happened to the car there. You made it sound real terminal. Zamis hunting down Custom right now for 14th. We've had an exchange right now. Shenjay getting Brain Stew, or excuse me, not Brain Stew, Van Putten into the hairpin. Shenjay into second position.
Yeah, Brownie as well getting Fraser into the hairpin, and that's compromised the Racing Points run. Freeway now using that overtake mode. He is going to get past Astrolite, not Astrolite getting passed by Alex Bitto as well heading into the chicane.
There's so much going on.
The overtakes, there's a lot going on this grid. Brainstrew now into the pits as well. He seems to have clipped his wing somewhere. So maybe he did hit the wall. Maybe it was some damage that we were alluding to earlier. But meanwhile, at the front of this grid, Alex Bitto still trying to make as much ground up as he can. Nigel with a comfortable, I say comfortable, but it's only a 6th to 7/10 gap from Chenjay behind. Chenjay still holding on to the fast lap of the race currently. That DRS has been enabled. So we're going to see how long the train extends for.
This is wild. This is absolutely wild here.
Yeah,
Brain's doing in the pit lane.
And there's Neon Rays with some damage. Some idiot looking up the inside, heading into turn 10. He'll have that inside line. He squeezes the Racing Point just a little bit towards the wall, but leaves enough space. He will get the move done. They'll both have DRS, but I don't know how long Neon Rays is going to drive around with that damaged wing. He might end up pitting. We'll see.
Nigel and Shenjay in a very good battle here, but it was both of them getting a little shaky out of turn 14. Alex Bitto, meanwhile, ahead of his rival. That's Van Putten getting taken for third. And now it's Nigel getting taken for the lead of this race, Mikcow. They're in a drag race down into the 3-4 chicane, and it looks like Shenjay's one out right now in that AlphaTauri. We'll see what the Alfa Romeo can do to fight back.
A battle of the Alphas, as it were. Looks like Nigel struggling a bit to get those tires up to temperature and to keep it on the track, it seems, as he will pick up a 3-second time penalty. He loses the rear as well. That will certainly wake him up. Alex Bitto now looking for the next target on his hit list, but Nigel just too fast in that straight line with the extra battery reserve that he has compared to the Ferrari. So Alex will have to hold station for now, as Astrolite as well in that 5th place, looking down on Remco Van Putten, and that's Neon Rays having a spin at turn 9 as well.
Yeah, some idiots on a charge as well. Moving up positions here, and Brownie's caught up with him, and things are just going wild here. Astrolite wheel to wheel now alongside Remco Van Putten. He's coming down in through ahead of the Renault into the chicane.
And we have a drag race between Yoda and Zanis.
There's a car off. That's Alex Bitto outside of turn 14. Mikcow, he's off to the inside now on the pit straight, and he's lost an end plate, but he's still going, and he's defending as best he can, but he's under major threat. The entirety of this grid has caught up with him, and there's a massive exchange in this midfield.
There is 5 cars basically all in the same spot. Alex Bitto probably running with some damage. Remco Van Putten goes up the inside of Jean, heading into turn 3. Somebody has the best view of this. Alex is going to fall like a stone here. That's 3 cars through turn 5. Somebody now looking for a dive down the inside of turn 6 on the Alfa Romeo of Jean. Trying to hold it around the outside. Brownie as well is going to try and mug both of them, it seems. Brownie has so much speed compared to that Alfa Romeo. This is unbelievable racing that we're witnessing between all of these drivers right now. That is some idiot now in the 5th position. Brownie into 6th, Jean in 7th. Alex Bitto continues to fall down this grid after such an amazing, amazing start.
Oh, wow, this racing down in the hairpin there. That's Jean having a little bit of an issue in the Alpha.
Yeah, but he is close to the back of that other Alpha, the AlphaTauri. So we'll see if he's able to do anything. Doesn't look like he's quite close enough to make a move. Freeway will pick up a 3-second time penalty for cutting through the chicane, as his teammate Nigel actually will come into the pits.
Some idiot wheel to wheel. That's Van Putten defending to the inside right now through turn 2, Mikcow. We know how the traction can be through there. You can see a little bit of a slip out of the Renault. Some idiot now comfortably into 3rd through into the 3-4 chicane, but none of these drivers are going to let anyone breathe. Everyone under serious pressure here coming through on Sector 2.
Oh, Brownie has so much more speed compared to Remco. He locks up a little bit, forcing Remco to take a bit to the grass, and Freeway will follow as well. He has so much more speed. Brownie trying to cover off the inside on the right-hand side, but it isn't going to be enough. Freeway, the straight just isn't long enough to close that gap. And this train is absolutely massive, going all the way down to basically P12 at this point, as Zamis still fighting with Yoda, and just this hairpin shot. You see all the cars.
Ooh, Jean with a big slip.
All together. Jean making a massive mistake there. That's going to compromise his run through this entire straight. Let's see, he's already lost 2 positions. Custom now with that DRS, using that overtake mode. He wants to get past if he can. Looks like that Alfa Romeo running a little bit less wing. Chenjo now into the pits as well. Custom with a massive, massive dive down the inside. It has to cut the track to avoid tangling too much with the Alfa Romeo, but it looks like he might have just put off the Alfa Romeo just a little bit too much there. Custom now looks like he might be letting those drivers through after that mistake, which is what we love to see. That's great sportsmanship out of them.
I gotta say though, Mick, Astronate's got a problem. He's leading this race and he's got 2 very fast drivers on the rear of him. One of them is his teammate for this encounter, and of course, they're on the mediums.
Freeway's spun it, and he's collected Fraser into the wall, the exit of turn 7. Wow, that is super, super unfortunate for both of those drivers. Shenjay just going past them, as well as the other leaders who had just stopped. Brainstew now will go past as well.
Nigel on Fraser coming into the hairpin as well. Let's see what the damage is like. Doesn't look like Fraser has any damage here, so he'll be able to get back up to speed shortly. Meanwhile, some idiot already within a second of Astronate, and he's jumped into the pit lane. Those softs are feeling pretty terrible for him.
Yeah, it's at this point that the softs really start to drop off the cliff. It's a literal cliff with those tires, so the mediums are definitely faster at this stage of the race. There's some idiot now, currently a race leader, Brownie, 1.5 seconds behind, and then 3 seconds behind that is BTFU in that Renault squad, doing very, very well for himself. Yoda making his way from last all the way back up into 4th place, but he will pick up a 3-second type penalty for his troubles, and that's Zamis having a lot more speed, looking around the inside of turn 5. That becomes the outside for turn 6.
What racing!
There is no space there. He will actually pick up a 3-second time penalty for going off track. Then it's his teammate, Swifty, doing all that he can to stay with those 2, but it isn't quite enough. The battery level on that Red Bull in 5th, very, very low at the moment, but he's still using all the overtake that he can. He's looking for just any sort of gap to open up. But Yoda doing very well, and he will have the DRS from BTFU in front of him to help him defend.
Oh man, Zamis really tried through 5, 6, 7 there, Mikcow. He wanted it bad, but it cost him on that 3-second.
Yeah, it really, really did. Maybe a bit more patience needs to be practiced from the Red Bull driver, but nevertheless, he is still hounding down Yoda. He has a little bit of a snap, but he's able to keep the car under control.
Well, Swifty holding station in 6th right now. He's kind of a buffer between anyone that wants to get at Zamis here, and Zamis really wants to get ahead of Yoda. I feel like as soon as he does, if he does, Swifty gonna pick things up a bit here, but right now he's holding off, and Zamis needs to keep hammering Yoda here. Regardless of what happens, if Red Bull wants points, at the very least, should something happen, Swifty's there to collect the scraps of whatever may unravel.
Yoda now very low on battery as well, using that overtake mode, trying to defend as best he can. Zamis now doing all that he can to get just a little bit closer to the back of that McLaren. And as Chenjay and Nigel are both catching up to this massive train, so they're going to have to make their way through this traffic on those fresher medium compound tires. Chenjay with so much more traction compared to the Williams. But they are both using that overtake mode. DRS open for the Alpha Tauri, and looks like that's going to be quite an easy move. Custom giving a little bit of a squeeze there. But Chenjay is through for that 8th place, and now Nigel will have to dispatch of the Williams as fast as he can to lest he risk the Alfa Romeo getting away, as Chenjay will now set a new fast laps of the race. We're now into the 1 minute 10 strip.
Remco Van Putten down 15th, Nick. He's on 1 lap old medium compound tires, and look at Alex Biddo ahead. It is the Dutchman hunting the Spaniard down right now, and it's just Remco showing so much pace right now with a switch to the inside. What a move there. Alex just says, no, get out of here, and he holds it through. But he knows now Remco is on the hunt.
Yeah,
Well,
I'm just keeping my eyes fixed on this train from P3 down to P10, it would seem. Like they're just all chilling in that DRS range. BTFU leading said train. There's actually an overtake now. Chenjay and Jean going wheel to wheel through the hairpin. Jean has picked up some damage somewhere. He's missing that right side end plate as well. And ahead of them, looks like Zamis just isn't quite able to get close enough. BTFU with the 3-second time penalty. Chenjay unable to make the overtake on Jean as of yet. But someone who is about to make an overtake is Nigel Custom, squeezing him towards the left-hand side, but it isn't going to be enough. Nigel up the inside has a little bit of a lock-up. They're still side-by-side through turn 2. Custom is doing all that he can to defend. There's a little bit of wheel bang between those two, but Nigel is through and back into P8, just behind Chenjay. As I said that, actually, Chenjay makes an amazing move on Jean.
oh, and there's a retirement.
And that is Neon Rays out of this race.
Safety car.
And we have another safety car.
Ladies and gentlemen, safety car, lap 14. Get those bathroom breaks in. Grab your friends.
Big incident for Neon Rays. He's completely lost it at the exit of the chicane. Full-on Kevin Magnussen style from a couple years ago.
Serious question is, was it assisted or was it an isolated incident between him and the car is the big question.
It's hard to tell from that angle. We'll have to see it after the race. But I'm sure if it was instigated by another driver, that Racing Point would not be happy. No way.
A multitude of drivers jumping into the pit lane here. Let's see who stays out and who goes in. Zamis, I believe, has opted to stay out here.
Pick up a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings for cutting that chicane. Chenjay as well will be staying out. But this safety car has played perfectly into the hands of those who all stopped at the first safety car. They can make those mediums last basically in the rest of the race without too many issues. And yeah, they're in the prime seat now. They're going to be a pit stop ahead of everyone who has chosen not to pit.
This has been a fantastic race, I have to say. There's been a lot of drama, a lot of crazy overtaking, a lot of hard, intense battling. And that's what you like to see in F1. And of course, you get to see all your favorite teams wherever the heck they may land on this grid, and in the cars are all equal performance. Of course, if you're enjoying the race, hit that follow button, guys. We do this Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and most Saturdays. Of course, we have 4 racing grids for the Misfits Racing League at present, and the Australian grid kicks things off October 1st, and we have a full grid racing for that as well. Happy to have you all here. This is why we do it. It's all about the viewers and just growing virtual racing, guys. So if you're enjoying it, we're happy to have you.
Yeah, as we're in a lull, just waiting for all these cars to catch up to the safety car. Some interesting tyre strategies here. Looks like Astronaut and Alex Bitter have both opted to put on a set of hard compound tyres, with the rest of the grid on those fresh or slightly worn medium tyres. It's only really Zamis who might think about pitting fairly soon. I'm sure he wants to lead at least one lap. Just one lap more in this race.
The overall position changes on the grid. You see Swifty's up 11 slots from where he began. He is the biggest winner in this one so far. And I have to say, after the qualifying of Brownie, he's been able to move up a position here. Some idiot there just ahead of him has dropped off of where he started in P2. But of course, Zamis and Chenjay have some worn tires. That's going to play in big for, of course, the Williams and Haas in 3-4 right now. Swifty in very good position behind them. Remco on those 5-lap-old mediums. This grid, everybody on mediums except Alex Bitto, and that really makes you wonder what is coming out of that Spaniard and what's going to happen for the solo Ferrari on this grid here in this race.
He's going for that Ferrari strategy. It would seem Striv trying to do something different just to see if it works, see if the gamble pays off and these medium tires die towards the end of the race. But as Astronaut is now catching up to the queue, it would seem the safety car should be in at the end of this lap. So hopefully we are able to go racing once again very, very soon.
Well, we saw how long that first safety car restart lasted as far as intensity, Mikcow, so buckle up. Round 2 is about to begin.
I believe this might be Zemis's first time leading a safety car restart. Could be wrong on that one. But
At the
it
very
is
least in
Zemis.
MRL.
Yeah, in MRL at least. But nevertheless, it is Zemis now in that P1 spot for the Red Bull squad. Still only has pitted under that first safety car, opted not to pit under the second one. He'll have Chenjay in the sister team behind him. And then Some Idiot and Brownie, two very, very fast reserves. Zemis is just waiting for the right opportunity to go. He might have got it out of the final chicane, and he does. But I think Chenjay saw that coming from a mile away. He is still right on the back of that Red Bull, as is Some Idiot, as this race is now back underway. It looks like all these cars very, very close together. So Zemis very, very predictable off that restart. Maybe he could have had a bit more on the tail as Some Idiot and Chenjay going side by side into turn 3. Chenjay coming out ahead of that one for the time being. Now Brownie as well looking to pounce on Some Idiot as well as move away further down in the grid. Looks like Swifty and Remco Van Pruning having an exchange of positions now, and that's BCFU now looking around the outside, and that's Yoda out of nowhere. He might get both of them here. He's using that overtake mode. Swifty has to make sure that he leaves that car's width that Yoda is able to slot into, and then it's Yoda now up into P6 as well. John making overtake on BT. BT seems to be struggling there. I don't know if he hit the wall or something. He doesn't seem to have any damage. But Brainstew now looking up the inside as well. BT is not having fun off this restart. And it's really, really showing as they make their way down the casino straight. All the overtake modes are on. Remco Van Pruden trying to get some clean air, trying to spot his braking point. But it doesn't look like there's going to be much shuffle of positions towards the front of this grid just yet, as those tires are still very, very cold.
You so much as get a snap of oversteer, you get a... Oh, it's wild. You make a mistake right now, Mikcow, you're gone, because these guys are all on it right now. And Freeware, speaking of on it, with an overtake, it looks like him and Alex Bitto having a battle coming down into the 3-4 chicane.
Oh, there's the drag race between those two. Alex Bitto does get the corner, but he has to slide out those hards. Very, very cold at the moment. That's Nigel as well behind him looking for a move. Up the inside of 6, it's just not on. Freeware just a little bit later on the brakes than probably Nigel was expecting.
Oh no, and that's Nigel Round coming out of turn 7, Mick, and he's damaged that front wing massively. He's out of both end plates there, but he is going, and there is not going to be a VSC or a safety car out of that incident.
Our pole sitter's race has just gone from bad to worse. That's the rescue run getting caught up in traffic, but that is still Alex Bitter and Freeware still going at it. Both of them using all of the battery available to them. It's going to be a drag race now. Looks like Alex Bitter using a little bit more than Freeware would, but that is a Red Bull end plate as well, just switching off to the back of the front of this grid. Zamis now has picked up damage. Chenjay is now right on his gearbox. DRS has been enabled. And all these drivers are still going out. There's absolutely nothing between, like, all of these drivers right now. It's absolutely incredible.
Zamis is getting some good use out of these mediums right now. The entire grid's bunched up. He's got some tires that he can go along with. People aren't able to overtake him right now, but I think his luck might run out here. Shenjay's got a good exit, but Some Idiot maybe even better. He's got the DRS off the AlphaTauri. Shenjay with the move. He's on the inside now into the 8-9 chicane. Zamis has to hold up. Some Idiot getting held up a little bit by the Red Bull through here, but he's just clean on the outside, Mick. He's taking the Red Bull for P2.
Well, Brownie as well is going to follow him through that. He might even go for a dive on the Williams. He does into the turn 10 chicane. He's actually tapped Chenjay. Oh no, and Chenjay's been spun around into the infield. And he is going to rejoin probably in 13th, 14th. He's going to be back. He's going to be overtaken by his teammate now, no less.
Oh, that's a big problem for the AlphaTauri squad. But you know what? Zamis maintains third position in that encounter, and it's Some Idiot in the lead of this race with Brownie following him up in P2. Meanwhile, Remco Van Putten hunting down Zamis. He's into P3 in the Renault. And Zamis is really starting to hurt on these tires, Mick.
Yeah, Jean as well, making it past Custom there in that battle for P7, trying to make his way further up the grid. Zamis is falling like a stone at the moment. That wing damage is really, really not helping. He's now down into 4th place. Yoda all over his gearbox now. He's 8 tenths. 8 tenths within a few corners behind the Renault of Remco Van Putten.
This is a wild, wild race, and Yoda has been having one heck of a performance.
Well, Custom seems to have had an issue. He's now down into 16th. So not quite sure what's happened, but it's 3 wide heading into turn 8 and 9. That's never going to end well, and Fraser's been pinched. Both cars. Can't exactly remember who that was, but
Swifty.
Fraser has been pinched. Has come off worse. Swifty now on his teammate as well. Drag race between the two bulls. Team orders here. Not apparent, it would seem. Swifty with that DRS. Zamas using that overtake, and he has DRS as well. They are side by side still. Made their way down the casino straight. Christian Hornet is probably pulling his hairs out. But looks like Zamas will get ahead. Swifty has a massive snap of oversteer, and that's going to allow Jean to make his way through. Brainstew a little bit too far back to capitalize off that. But Swifty has the inside line. John has to give him the room. They're still side by side as they make their way through turn 2. Freeware as well behind them in that battle for 11th. Has made that route. They're still side by side, it would seem, Strip. This is absolutely unbelievable. A little bit of a cut there. They're still going side by side. This is incredible.
Yeah, Brainstew's really looking to inherit some position here. I don't know if Swifty knew he was looking up the rear, but of course the Mercedes is just hunting. He's on the inside now through 7, and he looks like he might get it here, but Jean, Swifty, everybody's got DRS, and nobody knows what the heck's going on. Swifty has the Mercedes on his inside through 8, 9. He has to cut a little bit there to maintain 7th here.
Wow. It's not over yet. Brainstew going for a lunge. Is he going to tap his Jean as well? He's pushed him out of the way. So not quite sure how legal that one was. But it looks like Jean is going to repay the favor almost immediately. Look at the speed coming out from that Alfa Romeo. The Mercedes unable to open his DRS until just, 2/3 of the way down the straight. Swifty now really hounding the back of that Mercedes. BTFU picking up a 3-second time penalty as well for his troubles. But all this fighting means that Zamas can rest easy for maybe another lap or so, but John is catching at a rapid rate. Also, you can just see the track map. Zamas is the cork in the bottle at the moment. All the drivers just stuck behind this Red Bull, unable to pass at the moment.
This is just a wild ride, and thanks to everybody who's on board for this, because this is just a fantastic race. We thought Tier 2 is good, but the amount of intensity that we're seeing come out of this grid, look at the timing tower. You so much as sneeze, the guy behind you is going to be there.
Yeah, we've seen that happen, with our once upon a time race leader, Chenjay. But still Jean unable to make the move on Zamas. Zamas doing very well to defend with that car with the wing damage, sorry. As Aphrodite and Freeway having exchanged of position, but looks like Jean with that DRS and some overtake mode, he is going to fly past this Red Bull. So he has been released from the Red Bull bottleneck. Now picking up lots of penalties. As Brainstew having a lunge down into turn 1, and he will get past the Red Bull bottleneck as well. I wonder how it's going to go with his teammate Swifty though behind him, but Aphrodite regaining the position of Freeware as well, so he's now back up into the points in that 10th place, but he gets a little bit of a worse run through the 3-4 chicane, but it's not quite enough to let him get through. Looks like Swifty will hold it around the outside of his teammate, and he will get that move done. BCFU having so much better traction on those fresher mediums, as well as having that full front wing. Zamas is now down into 9th as well. Now it's Aphrodite next on the must overtake Zamas list. He's going to use that overtake mode. He's going to get it done into the hairpin, it would seem, taking that inside line. But he's a little bit earlier on the brakes. Zamas leaves the room. And he is through. Zamas having a little bit of wheel spin as well.
Freeware's out. Freeware's out of turn 10. He was looking to sneak through in that exchange.
Oh no. So the AlphaTauri squad having a miserable weekend, but Chenjay now back into the points. They're side by side with Alex Bitto heading into the chicane too, and so that corner doesn't really work out very well. And that is Custom in the Williams having so much more speed due to those two coming together. And he's going to make a dive now on Chenjay in this battle for P11, and he is spun as well. Oh no.
He has no front right end plate on that car. That move was going to be very tough to make, and now he's struggling there to get that car around.
Just wow. Like you're saying, you so much sneeze on the other guy behind, and their race is ruined. But meanwhile, there is still some very, very close battling here. Swifty and Aphrodite trying to see what they can do, as Zemus has also finally pit off those mediums, get that wing change. He's now on a fresh set of soft compound tires, so I don't know if he'll be able to make those last to the end of the race, but considering how long he went on those mediums, it certainly is a possibility.
We've seen some pretty good stints out of Zemus as far as tires are concerned. He's been pretty good on them. We'll have to see what he's able to pull out on those softs. He's going to have to make up a lot of positions in a short amount of time here. Of course, the grid is very bunched up, and if you have the pace, you can definitely do it. A lot of exchanges and battles still unfolding here. It's still Aphrodite hunting down the Red Bull of Swifty into turn 1. It's wheel to wheel. The Haas on the outside. That's Swifty with the switchback to the inside through 2. Of course, Aphrodite, good exit here.
Oh,
very good exit.
Drag race and Aphrodite will hold it around the outside. Will actually make the corner as well, so very, very impressive from the Haas driver. So Aphrodite will have that 8th place, as there's a battle up for P3, and there's also a battle brewing for the winner of this race as well.
Yeah, and of course, look back to when we were talking in the start of this race. Yoda, although he qualified, well, not near the podium, he said it wasn't off the table. He's made up 6 positions so far, and he's got Remco in his sights as well. So we'll have to see if he's able to make it that streak continue.
Speed! Look at the speed coming out from the McLaren, and he is through. Remco giving him a little bit of a squeeze there, so I just cut you off there, Striff, but Yoda will have the DRS again, but he's out of that battery. Remco using that overtake button. He looks for a move down the inside, but Yoda will hold on to that P3 for the time being.
Meanwhile, Alex Bitto on a charge still. He's on these hard compound tires. He's got a clean wing. We'll have to see what he's able to do here. We'll have to see if there's any last minute drama that is going to allow him to perhaps get onto some different tires, maybe charge through. But of course, the battle at the front is fantastic, as Yoda is just holding this Dutchman off right now. Yeah,
another one who seems to be held up is BTFU. He is right on the back of Brace as well, currently in that battle for P6. As I say that, looks like Brownie has a full 100% battery, and submit it all the way down to 20%. The overtake mode is engaged for the Haas driver. This is for the lead of this race, and just the speed from the Haas is absolutely no contest for some idiot. So that is the Haas now into the lead of this race. Looks like Yoda is still under attack from Remco Van Putten as well. BTFU making the pass on Brainstew down, coming down the Casino Straight. And Alex Bitto getting past Swifty into turn 13 as well. Chenjay heading into the pits now to get off those mediums, I presume, put on a fresh set of soft compound tires and try and make as much ground as he can at the end of this race.
Just a wild, wild race. Zemus is on these softs. He hasn't really made up too much time. He's 6 seconds behind Becky right now, and Chenjay's come in to get onto some soft compound tires. We'll have to see where he flops out here in this grid, but of course, some idiot less than half a second separating him and the German ahead. That's Brownie in the Haas in a reserve seat today. And of course, both of these guys, their reputation precedes them, considering they're quite in depth in the community, in racing in a lot of leagues, quite fast at that.
Some idiot having a little bit of a snap there. It's gonna compromise his run, but he will have that DRS to try and regain some of the time lost, but 8 tenths is quite the sizable gap.
A great fight we're seeing unfold here.
Remco Van Putten, 3 tenths is the gap. He says that overtake and that DRS, but he's gaining, but he's not gaining enough. Yoda holding on to that podium place as we're on lap 28 of this race. This race has flown by.
And it really
so
has.
Much battling. There's just so much to watch. This is absolutely incredible. I hope everyone at home is enjoying this as much as we are in the commentary box.
It is fantastic racing, Mick. It's a breath of fresh air. It's really, really lovely stuff to see coming out of Baku and Monaco. 2 very, very tight circuits, and here we are now for Canada, and it's just been wild.
And so far, only 1 retirement as well of Neon Rays after that unfortunate crash he had at the exit of the final corner. Custom also has since been lapped by almost half the grid. But some idiot now, crucially, is on that 1 second bubble to Brownie. So Brownie seems to have the pace on some idiot around this circuit at the moment. And he is slowly but surely pulling away from the Williams. Yoda also doing well to try and extend that gap as much as he can between himself and Remco. And Astrolite trying to do his best to close the gap to Brainster ahead of him.
Yeah, he's been doing a good job. He's got a big snap out of 14 as I say it, but he's utilizing that battery now to try and recover.
There are so many track penalties coming in. I don't know how this grid's going to finish like at the end of the race. Considering how tight everybody is, it's going to be a game of who has the least amount of penalties, I feel.
Speaking with BTFU ahead of this race, he was talking about his strategy here, and it was to just keep it smooth. Keep it collected, avoid the curbs, make sure that he was being clean through these turns. So we'll have to see what his penalty situation's like, and if the drivers ahead of him have anything to show, he may be in for a surprise. We'll have to see later on.
Looks like Brownie might have made a mistake somewhere, or something must have happened because some idiot has gained 5/10 within the first 2 sectors on this current lap. But Brownie seems to have gotten the better exit. Some idiot though using that DRS to a good effect. He's trying to close that gap. It's now within the 6/10 mark as Fraser will now pick up a 3-second time penalty as well, down in 16th. But another battle that is brewing is this battle for the 3rd place. Remco Van Puten is within 2/10. 2/10 strife of that McLaren in front. He's looking on the left-hand side. He's squeezing Yoda towards the grass, but he will take the inside line, and he is back onto the podium for now. But I'm pretty sure Yoda isn't just going to roll over and let him have it for free. He's going to fight back with everything that Albanian has left in the cockpit of that McLaren.
This is just wild. That's the word that I keep using, Mick. I don't know how to describe this racing. It's just been a fantastic race.
Yeah, absolutely thrilling. Yoda still holding it within those 3/10. One slip up from the Renault in front, and that podium is out of his grasp. As well, some idiot now trying to close that gap to Brownie. It's still at 8/10. He's not quite close enough to make a move. Fraser will set the fastest lap of the race so far with a 1:09.7. But there's also a massive battle brewing for P6 in this race as well, as Yoda has gotten passed back into that podium place.
Yeah, neatly done from Yoda there, heading into the chicane. Not a lot that Van Puten can do about it. And of course, you get DRS twice. You get it through into the chicane and out of the chicane into turn 1. And of course, there's only one detection zone for that.
BTFU picking up another 3-second time penalty as well. So he has a hefty total now, I believe. So Bracer and Astrolite applying the pressure, it would seem. The Renault driver said he'd try to keep it clean, but it hasn't really worked out for him this race so far. Custom will pick up 5 seconds for speeding into the pit lane. He's had an abysmal race. Freeway picking up a penalty as well, so the penalties are coming in thick and fast as they have been throughout this entire session.
It's just been a very, very hectic race. Freeway and Swifty having an exchange through into turn 1 and 2. It's going to be Swifty getting the best of the AlphaTauri. Swifty on those very fresh soft compound tires is going to have a lot of speed in comparison to Freeway right now.
Brainstew's made a little bit of a mistake. Astrolite's going for a dive up the inside into turn 10. It is the hairpin. A little bit of a wheel tap there, but Brainstew is able to hold on to that position for now. He will use the overtake on the DRS. They are both catching BTFU collectively, and the Mercedes has so much more straight line speed. That is overtake, slipstream, DRS, rich mix in full effect. And that is Brainstew up into 6th place. So Astrolite will now need to get past the Renault as well. And it looks like he's going to do it on this main straight as well.
Wow.
BTFU down 2 more positions in this one.
That was a wild sequence of overtakes.
Yes, absolutely crazy race so far. Becky B will pick up a 3-second time penalty as well for his troubles in this race. But these front 2, the gap is still fairly stable. Looks like some idiot has closed in by a couple of tenths, but maybe a couple of tenths is all he needs to really start applying the pressure. A big lock-up from Brownie in the Haas in front of him. Not quite sure if that was a visual glitch or not. But those two still keeping each other honest. BTFU now under pressure from Alex Bitto. A little bit of a tap there. BTFU Just lets the Ferrari go by. No point really fighting that one. That isn't his fight this race. He's just going to try and hold on to the points that he has with only a few laps remaining as the leaders now start lap 33 of 35 of this race. Currently, your race leader is Some Idiot 5/10 in front of Some Idiot. Did I just say Some Idiot twice? Brownie. Brownie in this race. Some Idiot.
Yoda.
Yoda now getting overtaken by Remco as well into turn 1, so he's now back onto the podium. But Yoda again isn't going to let him have it for free. Jean in that 5th place, Brainstew in 6th, Astrodite currently in 7th, Alex Bido in 8th, BTFU in 9th, and Chenjay, after an abysmal second half of this race, is back into the points at least, or a point.
Yeah, this is just crazy. Yoda right now hunting down Remco Van Putten. They've been exchanging lap after lap right now, and Yoda said he wants that podium, but I know, of course, Van Putten, he wants it just as bad here, Mikcow, and we've had some great racing here right now. Astrodate as well, still hunting down Brainstew, but we're going to switch back to Yoda. He's looking into the hairpin. That's the Renault on the inside. Oh, wow. Astrodate, meanwhile.
Fraser seems to be getting caught up in all of these fights. He'll give Brainstew a little bit of slipstream there. But Astrodite has a lot more speed in the Haas. What is it with these Haas boys today? They have a lot of straight line speed. And that is the Haas of Astrodite. Now up into P6, going through that chicane. Yellow flags, but I think that's just for the lap traffic getting out of the way. We are 2 laps from home, ladies and gentlemen. 2 laps, and the action has not dissipated whatsoever. This is absolutely incredible, Striff.
Yeah, it's a great race. Yoda right now, a ton of battery in reserve, Mikcow, as we come through turn 5. They move through into the 6-7 chicane, and it's going to be Remco Van Putten that has to contest with this Albanian McLaren, who's been on fire lately in these races. He's going to have a full load of battery. He's not even using it. He's just going to keep that DRS down through Sector 2 into the 8-9 chicane. And of course, Remco Van Putten on a little bit older tires here. He's going to struggle through coming out of 9. We know how the traction is through there, and we'll have to see what Yoda wants to do. We're just about to head into the final lap as Brownie now and Some Idiot coming down the Casino Straight heading into the Champions Chicane are going to cross through into the final lap of this race. Yoda needs to use it or lose it, and now he's burning it. He's coming down the straight, tapping through turn 12, through Casino Straight into, of course, the Champion Chicane. What a run it is from the McLaren, and is he going to get it done here? Remco holding through the inside. Wow, very tight there, and that could have been either one of them off. And meanwhile, it's Alex Bido in the hunt for Brainstew, and he's just had a bash coming out of turn 14. Jean now into the pits, and now Alex Bido gets through on the Mercedes into 6th position on these hard compound tires, and it doesn't matter whether the hards are slower than the mediums or vice versa right now. He's just on a charge, Mick. And meanwhile, Some Idiot, with less than 5/10 away from Brownie. And as we said for Yoda, he's got to use it or lose it. He's got some good energy. He's coming out of turn 9, a bit of a snap, but nothing he can't handle. Brownie in the lead coming into the hairpin.
They are both on 20% battery. Brownie has a fuel light on though, so I don't know how much extra fuel Some Idiot is running in that Williams. If this is his last opportunity, I'm sure they are both going to be burning everything that they have left. Let's see how powerful this DRS is. He's gaining, but I don't think he's gaining enough. This could be Brownie's race for the taking. He has a look at the inside, but he's too far back. And Brownie will be coming across the line. I don't know how the penalties are going to affect anything, but it looks like Brownie will come across the line to take the win of this race. Some Idiot, 4.5 behind him. Remco Van Putten is still under attack from Yoda behind him.
Oh, he's had a mistake, and that's Yoda with a serious charge, Mikcow. He's going to get the Renault off the line.
Oh my goodness. That is a photo finish if I've ever seen one, but looks like Remco had a penalty as Ashdite has jumped him now into 4th place. Brainstew in 6th. BTFU coming across the line in 7th. Alex Bido dropping to 9th as Chenjay will cross the line in 8th after all the penalties. And Jean will pick up that final point after pitting on the final lap of this race.
That was just... Oh my god, Fraser. You know what Fraser's doing on the grid, Mikcow. You know what he's doing on the grid. Oh my god. This has just been... What happened in China? What happened in China? I don't know about China. Whoa! And that's Custom and Fraser with a little bit of heroics at the end of the race. But that race finish was something not to forget anytime soon. Astrodate getting the call, the driver of the day. What a race. What a finish. A photo finish at that. What a race from some idiot. Brownie, of course, with the win. And Yoda with that shocking P3 finish.
Yep, definitely gonna be asking for the lotto numbers after this one.
Oh, man. PogChamp in the chat. I have to say, that was some next level stuff, of course. Wow. We're going to do it all again tomorrow, Mick. MRL Club Division, 2 p.m. CDT, of course. And 2 p.m. CDT, 8 p.m. BST for MRL Club Division. And we're going to do all of it again. I am just in awe. But, of course, here for round 9, Canadian Grand Prix, Brownie from 5th with the race win in the Haas. It's the German with the victory. The Williams of Simidiot from 2nd. He finishes 2nd with a great race, a very consistent drive from him, of course. Yoda from 10th to 3rd. He said it before and he said it again. He wanted the podium. He got the podium. He is on fire. Astrodate there in 4th in the Haas. That's Remco Van Putten in the Renault. And, of course, it was a fight to the line, a photo finish, but penalties did drop him back with Astrodate moving ahead of him. Brainstew in 6th, BTFU 7th, Shenjay in 8th. That's Alex Bido in 9th from 15th as well. And it's John running out the top 10 here from 13th. As well as Becky B in 11th, Swifty 12th, Zamis in 13th, Freeware in 14th, Nigel 15th, Fraser in 16th, that's Custom in 17th, and Neon Rays, unfortunately, out of this race through the iconic Wall of Champions chicane.
Now, I do have the results, like, barring any penalties. Remco Van Putten was 200ths ahead of Yoda at the line.
Wow.
So, if he didn't have those penalties, Remco would be on that podium, but those penalties costing him 2 places at that. But that was an intense finish too. Just an intense, like, race all over. One of the better ones we've had this season thus far, and hopefully it isn't the best of this season. Hopefully we're able to see better come some of the more overtaking friendly circuits like, I don't know, Austria or maybe even Monza or Spa. We are yet to see, but that is certainly a race that's going to be hard to top.
That was just fireworks. Pure fireworks. And I have to say, just big shout out to all the racers that were on circuit today. You guys put on a fantastic race for us here in the stream for me and Mikcow in the commentary. So pat yourselves on the back wherever you may have finished, because that was just beautiful. Now, of course, with that, MRL Club tomorrow, 2 p.m. CDT, 8 p.m. BST. There is no MRL endurance race this week as a result of course, it is a week off for the Formula One racing. But of course, if you're looking for the full race, any highlights from any of our Misfits Racing League races, you can find them all on our YouTube channel. But last but not least, Mikcow, why don't you tell them about the Discord community as well before we jump into raid and jump into outro here.
Yeah, if you're looking to become a part of this wonderful community, we're just shy of 500 members, I think. And everyone here is super chill, super fun to hang out with, talk about all things racing, even some other sports as well. So if you're looking to be a part of this amazing community and you want to get involved with the Misfits, be sure to check out our Discord. And yeah, we hope to see some of you in here interacting with us. Drive it with some of the drivers. Let them know that was an intense race. I know that's what I'll be doing right after this broadcast ends. That was just absolutely incredible. I can't get over that, Strif. I'm sorry.
Or excuse me there, as I had a little bit of a technical issue. Yes, Mikcow, that's just fantastic race day today. Tier 2, Tier 1. Of course, we had the OCE grid with practice this morning. It was fantastic all around, and everybody just needs to be happy with that one. Of course, that's going to be it for us today. We hope to see you tomorrow for the MRL Club Division, and it's just going to be a wild season of racing if the past few have been anything to go by, Mikcow.
Oh yeah, it's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm really looking forward to seeing how these drivers go at France. A little bit more runoff, a little bit more room for error. and it is also a fast circuit at that as well. So side by side through turn 10, maybe. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see next week.